What is up, guys? Welcome back to Scythe versus. This time we are covering not a boss, but simply the Dark Beast. Yes, the classic Slayer monster. Now, I was surprised at how well the Scythe worked against Dark Beast's classic Slayer task. Now, I have a bunch of numbers for you guys. The one thing I do not have, which makes these numbers useless, is a thing to compare them to. So, you're going to have to look up another video to find out what Slayer XP per hour basically the standard methods of killing Dark Beasts are, but what I can tell you is that the Scythe was great at Dark Beasts. Here I am using your standard spot, the one you use basically after Morning's End Part 2, the one that's right outside the Mourner hideout, I guess is what it's called, underneath West Arty. Really easy to get there from the Slayer Ring. I won't get into it. This is not a guide. We're here to review the Scythe. This worked out super, super well. Dark Beasts count as a 3x3 tile. Again, I don't think it's necessarily that, it's kind of hard to describe, why the Scythe hits 3 times sometimes. A lot of the time, it's not necessarily that the monster is 3x3, but that it takes up more than, 9 squares of game. I'm not really sure what the exact defining process is, but the Dark Beasts get hit 3 times, and that is all that matters because it does work. Now, we did track XP per hour during this. Good news is that it's really actually quite high. About 50k an hour with 1 superior for the whole task. That's pretty solid. Now, again, I don't know how that compares to using a whip, but what I can tell you is that, once again, the Scythe does not disappoint when it's hitting 3 times on a Slayer task. It's just great. It's a lot of fun. You hit so dang hard. And quite frankly, this task was, I'm fairly certain, a hell of a lot faster than it would have been if I was just using a whip. The task felt better. Again, that might just be the recency bias to the Scythe, but I gotta say, it felt really nice. We got a Dark Bow drop. We got a chance to test it out on a Night Beast. Night Beasts are, of course, the superior version of Dark Beasts. They can be a bit of a pain in the ass. Pro tip when you're fighting the superior version of the Dark Beast, you just have to watch how many attacks the actual Night Beast has gotten. Every 5 attacks, it does its special, where it launches a bunch of mage attacks at you that you have to physically dodge and get out of the way of. You'll see it here in a second. Basically, you just want to run out of the way. I'm not sure I'm doing this the most efficient way you possibly could, but whatever works, works. Point is, the Scythe rocks at Dark Beast. Now, of course, the downsides here are that you're spending a lot of money on this task now. Dark Beasts aren't exactly, they have buffed the drop table in the past, but Dark Beasts aren't exactly this huge moneymaker. They kind of, Jagex was just like, you know what, the Dark Bow isn't what it used to be. It's certainly not a 3 mil drop anymore. It's not even 2 mil. It's not even 1 mil. It's about 600k. So, killing Dark Beasts, expecting to make money off Dark Bows is not really reasonable. So they did buff the drop table, gave them some noted bars and ores, just kind of helped Dark Beasts out a little bit. Now, again, you're not making a lot of money from this task, but it's going to be even more important if you want to break even, especially if you're cannoning, to pick up some of those bars and ores and all that stuff. Not that you shouldn't do that already, guys. Let's be honest. I got a big bank. I got a Scythe. Obviously, I'm doing okay for myself. I pick up the little things. It all adds up, folks. Be a stingy little bastard. It really does all add up. Anyway, people always like BarrowsBOY, in Theater of Blood, when I go back for potions that we've dropped on the floor, shit, man, if you guys with less banks than me are going to leave those potions on the ground, 300k in super restores and brews, you bet your ass I'm going to go back and pick them up, because if we don't get a purple chest, then I'd like to at least make my money back somehow. Either way, let me just say, there's a reason I'm, doing pretty well in RuneScape. It's because I, do stupid shit like that because I'm a greedy bastard. Anyway, you're not going to make a lot of money during this task, especially with the Scythe. It is quite an investment. But if you have the Slayer level and a Scythe, chances are the money is not a huge deal to you, and the XP per hour is going to be just kind of awesome. You're going to be really happy with it. It does destroy the Night Beast as well. There's not really much else to say other than that, this is a really good task to use your Scythe on. Now, I know this doesn't have the glamour of a boss task, but what I can tell you is that I was using Proselyte for the whole thing. There's not exactly a lot of strats and, little tips and tricks I can give you, but I'll do my best to at least touch on a couple of the things that might help you guys who are also going after Dark Beast with the Scythe. I was using Proselyte here. I would chuck my melee prayer off every once in a while just to let the SGS do its part. I chose SGS as a spec weapon. I'm sure if you chose something like Declaws or some sort of damaging spec weapon, you could probably get in a little bit more XP per hour, but I'll tell you, you're going to have a hard time falling below 45k an hour. I think we got up to 50k an hour after we killed the Night Beast and fell back down just, I believe, right around exactly 50k an hour after the Night Beast had died and we'd finished our task. That was about 50 Dark Beasts later. So, again, getting superiors does skew, it just skews your XP per hour pretty heavily because you get a massive XP drop when you kill them. But that being said, it's not unreasonable to think you'll get one superior Dark Beast once a task. That's a lot more common, technically speaking, than normal. But if you have extended Dark Beasts, which you should, because killing like 5 Dark Beasts is ridiculous. Let's put it this way. You're probably going to get a superior most tasks. It's about 1 in 200, as far as I'm aware, to get a superior from literally anything. So if you're killing about 150 Dark Beasts, you'll probably see a superior. So, to give you the average task, it's probably what's going to happen. Anyway, so you can expect that kind of thing. But in terms of the gear, let's get back. We'll get getting off track here, because I can just read the comments now. Well, BarrowsBOY, it's not likely that you get this many superiors in a task. Listen, I know we're just making estimates here. It's not an exact science. Just trying to impart the little bit of wisdom I gained from, doing a bit of a task. Anyway, here's the deal. I use full proselyte because I'm praying the whole time because I want to be able to do it all in one trip. That's just kind of my deal. If you are the kind of person who likes to wear full bandos or something like that and just chug prayer potions like a madman, chances are you'll probably get a little bit more XP per hour. You have to remember you're hitting 3 times, and each of those hits is based off of your strength bonus, your attack bonus, all that stuff. So it's kind of more, almost with the Scythe, it's almost more important that your gear is like even better than it normally is, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. Either way, if you're using bandos, you're going to get a little bit more XP, and that's a good thing. You're also going to spend more money on prayer potions, but again, you have a Scythe. If you're training Slayer for XP per hour, you probably already know the risks. Let's be honest. In terms of any other things that the Scythe changes about Dark Beasts, no, there really isn't anything that is like game changing. You're not worried about hitting for once. You're not worried about hitting anything else that you're not fighting. The cannon aggro's for you. It's pretty freaking AFK, and I mean, let's be honest. You just do work. You burn through these things really quickly. I'm gonna give the Scythe, compared to the next best thing here at Dark Beasts, I'm gonna give it an 8. It's definitely really great. I wouldn't say it's incredibly game changing. It's probably not. I wouldn't say that I would start doing Dark Beasts tasks and that I haven't been doing them. Doesn't have that kind of Thermy effect where, like, I really didn't like Thermy, but now I do because of the Scythe. I still like Dark Beasts. It's just a nice thing that I get to use my Scythe. Granted, again, very expensive, so that's knocking it down a few points for me. And again, if you're just watching this series for the first time, our rating scale is essentially based on the idea that a 5 is your average gear that you would typically use. So for me, whip, proselyte, just hammering away like that. But this definitely gets some points up, so I'm giving it an 8. And definitely recommend using the Scythe on Dark Beast. It's a good time. So that's going to do it for this episode of Scythe versus, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. There's our little Dark Bow drop. We did get one, by the way. And that Night Beast came a little later in the video than I was expecting during the commentary. So in case you're wondering, you can see those strats pretty much right at the end, right before we get that Dark Bow. But either way, you probably know how to kill a Night Beast. You guys are smart. That's going to do it for this episode. Check out all the other episodes of Scythe Versus if you're curious how the Scythe performs at other places in RuneScape and you're curious about my opinion on it. Those are the places to go. I will be home soon to stream again. Look forward to seeing you all, and I will see you, as always, in the next one.